Okay, so welcome to this orientation session of AAA, the Advanced Audit and Assurance. This is Luqman Rafiq here. I am the tutor for the course AAA. So this orientation session, the agenda for this orientation session is where what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about the AAA as a paper. Plus, in addition to this AAA paper, I will be telling you what is my teaching methodology with respect to AAA and how this course is going to be delivered to you people. So before I start off, I've got in front of me the syllabus which has been published by ACCA for the AAA, and this syllabus is valid till June 2022. After June 2022, there is going to be a bit of an amendment in the syllabus, especially when the ACCA is introducing a different method of examination for this paper, where there is changes to the multiple professional level exams. But for the June 2022, it is going to be similar to the previous attempts. So now, before I start off discussing about this AAA, there are few things that I would like to go on discussing and which generally bother a lot to the students. And what are those things? Amongst the different things that actually bother a lot to the students, one of them is a lot of the students, they are actually of the viewpoint that I was not very good at F8. I have actually forgotten everything that I studied at F8. Now, would I be able to do AAA? So that's one of the questions that the students have. So my answer to you right now is yes. Even if you have forgotten F8, even if you don't remember anything about the audit and assurance, you can still attempt the AAA paper because when you are actually going to look at the syllabus or the subject relational diagram, you would see that there are multiple papers in ACCA. One of them is AA, one of them is the SBR, and then you have got this AAA. So what you would do is that you would see that there is a relationship between the AAA and the audit and assurance plus AAA and the SBR. So you would actually look at it and you would see that there is actually a relationship between AAA and the SBR and AAA and AA. Now, what actually happens is that when you would look at the past paper of this AAA, when you would look at the past paper of AAA, you would see one thing that the AAA past papers would have majority of the questions which are going to be examined in a manner that you would think for a while that am I attempting an audit paper or am I attempting a reporting paper? So for every one of you who is attending this orientation, let me assure you, if you have got an exemption from F8, if you have actually forgotten F8, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. Because you can still do AAA without the F8 fresh knowledge. You can still do AAA. But what is important with respect to AAA is the knowledge of SBR. So every one of you who is actually attempting AAA, you got to make sure. I repeat, every one of you who's attempting AAA, you got to make sure that you have already studied SBR. Or if you have not studied SBR, then what you should be doing is that you should be studying SBR in the same attempt as the AAA. Because always remember, what is the audit all about? Whenever we talk about the audit, it's an audit of financial statements. What is the audit all about? Whenever we talk about the audit, it's actually audit of financial statements. So if it is actually audit of financial statements, so you need to make sure that the audit starts where the accounting ends. Wherever the accounting ends, that leads to the start of the audit. So always remember, audit starts where the accounting ends. And if you are not good at accounting, if you don't know accounting, you cannot do audit. You cannot be good at audit. So in order to be able to do the auditing paper, you should know the accounting. The accounting standards knowledge is essential. So for every one of you who is going to be preparing for the AAA, just remember one thing, that in order to do AAA successfully, you should have good reporting knowledge. If you don't have good reporting knowledge, you would not be able to do AAA well. Just keep this thing in mind. Remember this thing. For you to be able to do AAA, you need to have the good reporting knowledge. Just keep this thing in mind. Now, let's move a bit forward and let's discuss further. So I have in front of me the syllabus for AAA. I'm going to discuss things about this AAA syllabus, that what exactly are the various items which are part and parcel of the AAA, and how do we actually need to cover the AAA paper. So if you could actually see one of them, which is the relational diagram which I was talking about, you could see the relationship between the SBR and AAA. There is obviously a relationship between audit and assurance and AAA, but there is a very, very strong relationship between SBR and AAA. Why? Because auditing starts where the accounting ends. The accountant completes his task, prepares the financial statement, then he invites the auditor. The auditor then comes in and the auditor then keeps on checking the financial statement. That's how things go about. Now, so that's one thing with respect to the AAA paper. Now let's move a bit forward and let's talk further. What I'm actually going to do now is that I'm actually going to be talking about the syllabus and the main capabilities that are actually expected of the students. If you could look at this specific diagram, you could see that this specific diagram is actually telling you what are the various elements of AAA and how are they connected to each other. You could see there is this part which is about regulatory environment, section A. There's this professional and ethical consideration, the section B. Then you've got another section, practice management, planning and conducting of audit, completion and reporting, other assignments. If you could actually see that all of them are all of them are connected to each other. Especially this specific one is connected to this, it's connected to this, it's connected to this, it's connected to this. Plus this professional and ethical is connected to practice management. It is connected to conducting of audit. It is connected to completion on reporting. It is connected to other assignments. Everything is connected. Now, let me just give you a bit of a guidance. You could see this section H also, which is about employability and technology skills. And you could see this section G also, which is current issues and development. Now, let me tell you that this employability and technological skills, what is it referring to? Since you know that the paper is computer-based examination. So since the paper is computer-based examination, so by this specific skill, what the examiner is expecting you to do is that to be able to handle the CBE platform. And what do we mean by handling the CBE platform? Handling of the CBE platform would actually mean that you would be able to write down the answers using the Word. You would be able to perform the calculations using the spreadsheet. That is what the examiner is expecting from you. So when he says employability and technology skills, that is what it is all about. So that means the examiner is asking you to have ample CBE platform practice. The examiner is asking you to have an ample amount of CBE platform practice. That's what the examiner is actually asking you to do. Now, let's move a bit forward and let's discuss further. What else is there? The next situation is about this current issues and development. For those of you who have already studied SBR, you would know this current issues and development quite well because this area is very much covered in the SBR. I repeat, for those of you who have already studied SBR, would actually know quite well about these current issues and development. So what exactly is this current issues and development all about? So if I tell you about the current issues and development, this current issues and development actually tells you the recent development or the upcoming changes in the auditing regulations that are expected to happen. So whether there is actually a change in the ISA that is expected to arise, or change in any other pronouncement like IS, AE, etc., etc. Whatever the new thing that is expected to come up or that has actually been announced, all of this is examined as part and parcel of the current issue. Now, how to prepare for these current issues for the AAA? So the best way to prepare the current issue is the articles. I repeat, the best way to prepare for the current issues is the examiner articles. When you would actually go about with the examiner articles, you'd be able to prepare the current issues quite well. So the best way of preparing the current issues is to go through the examiner's article. That's the best approach. What am I going to do with respect to it? I'm going to make these current issue lectures available to you based on whatever the recent technical articles that have been published and which are going to be published up till your exam. So I'm actually going to be making those lectures, the debriefing lectures, available with respect to those areas. So with respect to this AAA, this is one of the areas and this is another area. Now come on to the other areas like regulatory environment, professional ethical consideration, etc., etc. Let's just talk about each one of them, that what exactly are they. So if I talk about this regulatory environment, professional ethical consideration and practice management, what are these things? When we talk about the regulatory environment, so as you know that whenever you are performing an audit, as you know that whenever you are performing an audit, the audit is governed by law. The audit is governed by law. There is obviously the law that is available, that is applicable, which actually tells you how the audit should be performed. I repeat, there are obviously laws available which tell you how the audit should be performed. So this specific area of regulatory environment, we would be discussing few things. Number one of them is that what is the regulatory framework for audit and assurance services, that how globally the auditing profession is regulated. The second thing is we would be talking about the concept of money laundering and what as an auditor you should be doing with respect to money laundering. I'm assuming that you people have a bit of an idea what a money laundering is. So money laundering is an exercise, it's an activity whereby the illegal money is being laundered, is being cleaned out, is being brought back into the legal economy. That's what generally the money laundering is all about. And then you have got the laws and the regulations. I repeat, then you have got the laws and the regulations, which is basically every company is subject to different laws and regulation. That could be your company's act, that could be other laws depending upon the industry in which you are operating. Like for example, if there is a pharma company, the pharma company may actually be subject to drug regulatory authority rules and regulations. So basically what is going to happen is that whatever the laws and regulations that are applicable upon you as an entity, I repeat, whatever the laws and regulations that are applicable to you as an entity, so an auditor is required to make sure that he ensures that the entity complies with those laws and regulations. I repeat, it's the responsibility of the auditor. I repeat, it's the responsibility of the auditor to make sure that he understands that what laws and regulations are applicable upon the entity. So one of the areas of the syllabus is about regulatory environment, and you should know about it, that what are the regulations and how as an auditor we need to deal with them. Then you have got this section B, which is professional and ethical considerations. Now, what is this professional and ethical consideration? Let me tell you. All of you have already studied the code of ethics at the audit and assurance level. Plus, you do study the code of ethics at the SBR. You do study code of ethics at the F1, which is business and technology. But here at the AAA level, the examiner creates scenarios. And under the different scenarios, he expects you that you will be able to answer. He expects you to actually answer the different questions pertaining to the ethics, that if an ethical issue is arising, how exactly should we dealing with that ethical issue in the given scenario? What should be the safeguards that we should be adopting? So you would actually be faced with the scenarios where you would be dealing with the ethical issues in this specific part. Plus, fraud and error. You know this thing, that what is fraud and what is error? The fraud is intentional mistake. Error is a mistake. Fraud is intentional. Error is not intentional. So how, as an auditor, you should actually deal with the fraudulent activities that are taking place in an organization? How you as an auditor should deal with the errors that the accountant or the companies have made, plus the errors that you have actually made while performing the audit? So how should you be dealing with that? We're going to be discussing that area also. Plus the professional liability. That as an auditor, to what extent are you liable for the incorrect audit opinion that you are going to express? Because you see, we are auditor, we are expressing an opinion on the financial statement of the entity. And when we are expressing an opinion on the financial statement of entity, so we are expected to make sure that we do our best. And if we don't do our best, and if somebody believes upon our opinion and invests in a company and incurs a loss, so she may lodge a claim against us. An inquiry may be lodged against us. An investigation may be lodged against us. So how, as an auditor, should we protect ourselves? Should we actually ensure that we are able to avoid those professional liabilities that arise because of us being negligent, because of us not being up to the mark while performing our task? So that is also something that we would be discussing in here. The next thing which is basically there is the quality control and practice management. When I say practice management, what do you mean by this? The audit firm that you are running, the audit firm that you are working, that's a practice. That's a practicing firm. And the auditor has to ensure that they are able to manage their practice well. I repeat, the auditor has to make sure that they are able to manage their practice well. You got to manage the practice well. What do you mean by managing the practice well? That is basically there are multiple things, which is ensuring the quality control, ensuring that your audit is up to the mark, ensuring that the quality is not compromised while performing the audit, ensuring that there is a firm-wide training environment, ensuring that every engagement is dealt on a merit basis, plus ensuring that other ethical areas which are important with respect to management of the practice are actually being handled well. So as an auditor, what you would be expected to do is that you would be expected to, I repeat, you would be expected to make sure that you are maintaining the quality of the practice that you are running, plus you are maintaining the the overall environment of the firm, and that you are ensuring the compliance with the ethical standards. So that is something that you would have to do as an auditor. Now, if I go back, if I go back to this diagram, I can actually tell you that you can expect a 25 mark weightage from these three sections, which is the regulatory environment, professional ethical issues, and the quality control and professional and the practice management. These are the three areas from which you can expect that the examiner is going to examine you for 25 marks. I repeat, you can expect that the examiner is going to examine you for a total of 25 marks for these three areas. And it's not going to be one single question. Generally, what he does is that he can actually give you one question 16, 17 mark, and then another part of the question 8, 9, 7, 8, 9 marks, something like that. So it's actually splitted over two questions, this section. So that is one of the specific areas of the syllabus. Now the next part of the syllabus is this planning and conducting of audit of historical financial information. So this is where the actual audit arises. This is where the actual audit is examined. And from the examination perspective, you could expect this area to have a weightage of approximately 40 marks. That's what it is. So what is it that's going to be examined in this portion? As you could see, in this specific area, you start from the planning stage, the risk assessment, the evidence gathering, the performance of the procedure, and then the group audits. So basically, it is the section D. It is the section D of the syllabus that would require you to have a good accounting standard knowledge in addition to the auditing knowledge. Now, how would we make sure that the accounting is standard knowledge plus auditing is standard knowledge? So don't worry, I'm here. I'm here to support you. I'll show you at the end of this orientation how we have managed our web portal where all the lectures are being made available to you people. I'm here to show you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to guide you. Don't worry about it. But this section D is the actual audit starting from the planning stage where you start planning the audit, where you perform risk assessment, then you start performing the procedures to gather the evidence, and at the same time, the same practice which has been applicable for the individual company is also being applied for the group audit also. So we are going to see all of this in here. I repeat, we are going to see all of this in here. Now, the next part of the question is about the completion, review, and reporting. So this is something where we are going to be talking about the audit report, where we are going to be discussing how the auditor's report is going to be issued, where we are going to be talking about how the auditor's report is going to be issued. When do we have to give a qualified opinion? When do we have to give an adverse opinion? When do we have to give a disclaimer of opinion? And when do we have to give an unmodified opinion? So every single thing is gonna be examined in here. I bet. Every single thing is gonna be examined in here. So you don't have to worry about it. You have forgotten all the audit report basics? Don't worry. We're gonna start from basic. We're gonna start from basic. You don't have to worry. We're gonna start from basics. Now, so if I go back to the previous slide, you could see that I told you that 25 marks for this, approximately 15 mark to 10 mark for this. In fact, you could actually say 50 mark for this, and you've got 40 to 45. You've got 10 to 15 mark for this last area, which is other assignments. Now, what is this other assignments? Let me just give you a bit of a guidance. What happens is, there is a body whose name is IAASB, the International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board. It has issued multiple pronouncements. What are those multiple pronouncements? One of them is ISA, which is International Standards on Auditing. That's one of the pronouncements. Plus, there are pronouncements for ISRE, which is International Standards on Review Engagements. Plus, there are pronouncements for ISAE, the International Standards on Assurance Engagement. Plus, there are pronouncements on ISRS, the International Standards on Related Services. So when we actually talk about the section F, this is an area. This is actually the other evidences, the other section E. This is what it is all about. Section F, the other engagements, this is what is going to be covered. So we talk about the review engagements, we would talk about the assurance engagements, we would talk about the related services, all of them combined are going to be part and parcel of this section F. I repeat, all of them combined are going to be part and parcel of this section F. So that is what you will be looking at. Now, so we'll be discussing in detail what these are, what these engagements are, what exactly is the, how do we deal with the scenario? We're going to look at it. So when I talk about the AAA, I would say it's a step up from SBR rather than a step up from AA. It's more of a step up from SBR. You should be good at reporting if you are going to do AAA. Now, the next question that actually arises is that how to pass AAA. So there are two approaches, two things which are important. One of them is your accounting standards knowledge. And the second thing is application and drafting skills. You want to be successful, two things to focus upon. Yeah, this video will also be made available on the YouTube, don't worry about it. Okay, two things, accounting standard knowledge plus the application and drafting skills. These are the two important things. Accounting standard knowledge plus application and drafting skills, they are the important things you should know. Now, the question mark is, how should we be covering this? What exactly is the approach that we are going to be adapting? So let me just give you a bit of a guidance. You'd go onto the website, the Google, you would search Escribir. You would search Escribir. You would come across this website. You can click on this, escribiracademy.com. This is the website that where all the courses are there. You could go for this AAA. You could search AAA in here. We have got AAA available and taught by multiple tutors. You have got a choice, whomsoever you wish to go for. What I'm going to tell you is that myself, Luqman Rafiq, there is this course. You click on this course. When you would click on this course, you would see that there is a whole list of lectures that are made available. Now, how does this syllabus goes about? I have actually made available all the lectures. I repeat, I have made available all the lectures on the website. Like you would see that introduction plus this audit overview. Audit overview plus there's this business risk. And the PQs. Whenever it says PQ, this PQ actually means it's a practice question. Whenever it says PQ, the PQ means practice questions. Then risk of material misstatement, the audit risk and the group audit, and the most important thing, accounting standards. As a student, you are worried about the accounting standards, so you don't have to worry about accounting standards when it comes to studying from Luqman Rafiq. Why? Because I make sure, I repeat, because I make sure that I make you available all the accounting standard summaries, they have video lectures plus there is a relationship between those video lectures with the audit procedures. That how, if you come across an accounting standard, how would you create an audit procedure for that standard? So that is also made available to you people. So you don't have to worry about it because accounting is standard plus audit procedure. Accounting is standard plus its audit procedure. Everything is actually being made available in here just for the sake of you people so that you are able to understand things well. Now, so how exactly are we gonna be studying this course? So once you register with us, once you enroll with us, you get access to the pre-recorded lectures. Then in addition to this, there is actually a planner which is made available to you that how you should be going ahead, keeping in mind the chapters, the topics that are available on the portal. The third step to go about is that what you do is that there is actually a weekly or there could actually be a fortnightly live query session. Why do we have a weekly or a fortnightly live query session? Because you are being told to study as per the planner. And when you have studied as per the planner, so you come up with me in the live class, you discuss your problems in case if you have. At times, what could happen is that if the students are not going through the lectures at the same pace as the planner, then I might have to defer the query sessions. Plus, there is going to be a WhatsApp group, and you can actually become part and parcel of that WhatsApp group. And our WhatsApp groups are interactive, they're two-way interaction taking place. You can discuss with the peers, you can discuss with me. Even if, let's say, if I'm not available to respond back immediately, you can have your peers who could respond back. Then, what else is there? The last month before the exam, there is basically a live revision 3 to 5 days. Plus, lastly, there's a mock examination on which you shall be getting the feedback also. So that's how things are going to operate. The fee that we are charging is USD 150 and we're presently offering a 20% discount. So you get it for USD 120. So you can get it for USD 120. For those of you who have got queries, I can actually write down my own number, which is my own number is this +92 331 2366 161. This is our admin number, which is +92 346 66 66 442. So depending upon, I think I need to write it down again, +92 346 66 66 66 442. So you have got these numbers. You can get in touch with us in case if you have got any queries or any problems. Now, I'm actually going to open the floor for you people. In case if any one of you have got any queries, any questions you may ask, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you would like to unmute, you can unmute. If you would like to do the chat, you can do chat also. Okay, Mike Akoto, good to hear that. Thank you. Abdullah Rana, I think that your query has been answered now. Michelle, I think your answer is also being done. It will be available on YouTube. Okay. Anyone else having any other questions, please? Yeah, anyone else having any other questions, please? If you do have any questions, do let me know. You may write down your queries. You may uh, unmute, whatever that seems feasible for you. Okay, seems like everyone is okay, and apparently there are no